Today on Reel Filmmaking, we're going to answer the question, is it possible to create, write, and shoot a short film in less than 24 hours? So I love a good short film. There's nothing better than a good short film. I love the idea of being able to create like one little pocket or a scene or like a vignette for somebody to just go and experience the world. I really love that whole concept. And I love it even more as a videographer, somebody who's trying to grow in their filmmaking skills and their writing skills and different things, because short films function as a training ground of sorts for me to be able to practice those individual things. And so when I create different short films, I look at it as an opportunity to say, hey, I really want to work on my shot composition. And so that's mainly what I focus on. Or I really want to work on my writing or my dialogue, so I focus on that thing. Or hey, I really want to work on lighting because I'm not good at it, so I'm going to work on it in this short film. Short films provide a way to practice these skills in an environment that is not technically, I guess, as high pressure as maybe, let's say, you're a videographer and you do this professionally. And you're like, hey, I don't really know how to do this skill. Let me try to implement it on this project. And if you don't implement it well or you make mistakes, which we all do, and that's how you learn, it kind of could make it a little bit dicey for your client. So short films are a great outlet to channel and practice these different skills. So this past summer, I was in Chicago for like the first half of the summer, and I really wanted to take advantage and just to stretch myself to do something creative while I was there. I was there for work, but I brought my camera and some minimal gear so I could shoot something if I found the time. And a couple weeks ago, I think, since I got back, I uploaded a short film that I made called Travel Fair Air. If you haven't seen it, you can check it out. I'll put a link right here. So Travel Fair Air was a short film that I created the idea for, I wrote the script, I acted in, and I shot it all in one day, in less than 24 hours. And I'm pretty happy with the results. My whole intent in making that short film was to see, can I tell a story that is heavily told through visuals? There is some dialogue in it, you know, he's answering the phone, he's talking to customers and stuff, but primarily it was an exercise for me in stretching myself to see if I could do it, if I could tell a visually compelling story. And I feel for the most part I did succeed in doing that, so I was happy about it. You guys can tell me what you think. If you watch the short film, let me know. But today I wanted to break down and show you guys that it is possible to be able to create an idea, to write a script, to film something within 24 hours and have it all come together. And so we're going to be looking at the steps in my process that I used to do that when I was working on Travel Fair Air. So the genesis of Travel Fair Air essentially was I woke up one day and I was like, okay, I have the day off, I want to take the morning and shoot something. It's been a while since I've picked up my camera. I want to like knock the rust off and I want to make sure I can grow in my storytelling abilities. So I was in an apartment this summer, like in the city, and I was on the 12th floor, and so every day when I would get up, like we had these huge windows outside that I would go to and look out of, and I could see all the buildings around me. I could see the Sears Tower. And I was like, man, this is such a great view, and it's so cool to be up this high and in some sense kind of like trapped or protected by these windows. Circling that idea around in my head, I was like, windows, trapped, I can see the city, but I can't actually get to it yet. I came up with the idea of somebody who was doing something with these windows. And so I brainstormed on that a little bit, and I was like, what could I do to incorporate these windows? Somebody who is looking out to the outside and they can't get out. And the windows are like their way into the world. So processing that idea, I came up with the thought of what if somebody was working in a job in a place where they had these huge windows and they could see outside of them, but they could never actually get outside. Like they lived in this place, they did all this stuff, but they never actually got to experience the world that they were in. And so I was like, I like that idea. How could I elevate that? What if you're somebody who worked for a travel agency or a flight company where you are helping people who are traveling all over the world, but you never actually get to go outside and experience the world yourself? And so with that kind of as the crux of what I wanted the story to be, the pieces started to fall into place very easily of like, okay, how could I convey this? He works in a job that he hates, he's having to help other people schedule these trips, and like the more and more he talks to these people, he realizes, I've never taken this type of trip. I've never gone out. And you have these huge windows that show you the outside world, but I can never actually get there. And so soon, all those things started to fall into place. I can act in it. It takes only one actor to convey this. The dialogue is very minimal. I drafted out a script of like, I want him to interact with different people, show the facets of the job, like directing people, redirecting flights, booking flights. And even in doing that, I was able to represent different places that people might want to go. Alaska, like Hollywood, Spain, there might be a couple others, but a wide range of places that people would like to go for vacation. And in doing this, every time that this character, Miles, would think about this and have to interact with these different people, the more and more like it got to him like, I'm not experiencing my world. I'm not experiencing life, and I'm trapped in this job that I really hate. You can see that he is even begrudgingly there. Like I tried to have some visual things to show, like he gets there and he picks up this slip and he's like, oh, thanks for working a double. So he's like filling in. He's working on a day that he's not supposed to be working. Even more like reinforcing this idea of him being trapped, him doing something he doesn't want to do. So then the next step was like, okay, so I have an idea. I wrote a script with some of the dialogue to progress, like what will be the conflict. The conflict is he's trapped and he wants to get out into the city. And how do I want to convey that? Since I only have one actor, it's me, I'm the protagonist. My antagonist in this case would be the situation. Like I'm trapped and I'm trying to get out of this environment. So in writing that, I was like, what can I do to even convey that a little bit more in the visual storytelling? And so one of the things I thought about was I had, in the apartment we were staying in, like an old phone, like one of those old phones that rings that you would see in an office. And I was like, that can kind of be the impetus for every time like he is sitting and kind of daydreaming and hoping he could get outside, this phone is just like aggressive and it rings and it makes him like, back to reality doing this job I hate. And so I really played up how many scenes I could incorporate the phone into. I also, because I was wanting to practice visual storytelling in this film, I also included a lot of shots that would convey this sense of being trapped. You can see this in a lot of the scenes where he looks out the window. Instead of getting a whole open view, we get that like one time. There's a lot of shots where it's like I purposely frame them so it cuts off part of the city or it cuts off part of the view, or there's something obscuring it, like right in front of his face. There'd be other times where it's like he'd be looking out the window and I would purposefully, what is called in filmmaking, like short side the actor or not give them leading room. So it's like, I'd be looking into the frame, but there's not actually any place for me to see it. And so it creates a sense of claustrophobia. And so that's really some of the things I wanted to work on in doing this. I wanted to get interesting angles, but also shots that would reinforce this sense of being trapped, being lonely. There's a nice shot that I have where Miles is standing looking out the window and the camera is pulled really far back and you just see it's like he is alone in this work environment, working by himself, not really interacting with anybody, just longing to get out of this situation. In setting up those shots, I would position my camera one place, I'd take a shot, I'd get up, go over, like look at it, do I like the framing, maybe retake the shot, move the camera someplace else. All the time. Sorry for the random change in perspective all of a sudden. So I'm literally editing what you are watching right now, what you were watching, and I've come to find out that the file was corrupted, or it didn't show up. I don't know where it is. It's not there. I don't know. The joys of technology. So anyway, what I was saying, picking up from where I was right there, is I was trying to create a sense of claustrophobia, of isolation, of him feeling alone. And so yeah, like when you're doing this by yourself, it's a lot of moving the camera, setting the shot, seeing if you like it, going back, checking the camera, like all that thing. But I think that is a good thing to practice, just as a filmmaker. It's like, can I convey what I want to, even like when my resources are limited and I don't have the people,
or like the technology or the things that I would want to eventually do that. And so it kind of helps you, because one day down the road, if you keep doing filmmaking and you get more actors and you get people to help you and you get all these different things, you know exactly what you want and you can communicate that to other people. This was a really cool and growing experience for me. I really wanted to see if I could tell a visually compelling narrative, if I could even string together shots that would tell a narrative, and I succeeded. And so for me, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this short film was focusing on, can I narratively, visually storytell? And that's what I ended up doing, and so I call it a success. So I hope this video, guys, was encouraging and inspiring for you guys out there, people who want to create, who maybe you might be a videographer, maybe you're an aspiring screenwriter, some sort of other creative, maybe you're just like a writer, you like to, you know, whatever you are. Like, I hope this video challenges you and stretches you creatively. And I think as creators, sometimes we just need to do these types of things to shake ourselves up or to just stretch our boundaries and to be like, you know, that's kind of crazy, but let me see if I can do it. And it really helps you to focus in on the essence of the one thing that you want to do or you want to practice. So it was a fun experience. I hope you guys like Travel Fair Air. Again, tell me your thoughts about it in the comments down below, or go check out the video. And as always, guys, if you like the video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you're not, to see weekly content that I put up. And I so much appreciate your guys' support and your comments. I love feedback. I love talking to people. I love talking about movies. Obviously, it's the whole reason I'm on YouTube making this channel, because I just love the discussion and the whole aspect of filmmaking. So thanks so much, guys. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And until next time, get out there and make some movies.